Host, hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel Thoughts Unveiled. Today, we delve into the fascinating world of torts, a crucial topic for 12th class students. Definition: a tort can be defined as a wrong independent of contract, giving rise to a civil remedy, for which compensation can be recovered. According to Salmond, a tort is a civil wrong for which the remedy is a common law action for unliquidated damages, and which is not exclusively the breach of a contract or breach of trust or other merely equitable obligation. Essential elements of torts. 1. Wrongful act: when a person is under some legal duty, and he fails to perform it, causing some loss to the victim, the person has committed a wrongful act. 1. A wrongful act invades the following private rights of the victim: good reputation, bodily safety and legal rights. 2. Legal damage: there is a difference between legal damage and actual damage. 2. In torts, injuria sine damno is actionable but damnum sine injuria isn't. 2. Injuria sine damno means an infringement of a legal right even if there is no actual damage. 2. Damnum sine injuria means damage without injury. In Ash B.V. White, the plaintiff was prevented from exercising her right to vote. It was held that the plaintiff was entitled to damages. 2. In the Gloucester Grammar School case, a rival school was set up near that of the plaintiff. 2. It was held that the plaintiff could not get compensation as there was no legal injury. 3. Legal remedy: the damage in tort should be actionable. 3. There cannot be a tort if there is no legal remedy. Some general elements of torts. 1. Act or omission: there should be a wrongful act in order to constitute tort. 1. It can be an act of omission or that of commission. 1. They should not be beyond human control. 2. Voluntary or involuntary: the wrongful act can be voluntary or involuntary. 3. Intention, motive, negligence and recklessness: the act may have an intention or motive or may arise due to negligence or recklessness. 4. Malice: malice isn't essential in all kinds of torts. 4. It is essential in the following: defamation, malicious prosecution, malicious damage to property, slander, etc. 5. Malfeasance, misfeasance, nonfeasance: malfeasance means commission of an unlawful act. 5. Misfeasance means performing a lawful act in a wrong manner. 5. Nonfeasance means failure to perform an act where there was an obligation to perform it. 6. Fault: a fault which violates the right of a person gives rise to tort. Difference between tort and contract. 1. Free consent is necessary to give rise to a contract. 1. A tort is inflicted without consent. 2. There is no doctrine of privity in tort. 2. It is essential in a contract, and no third party can make decisions regarding a contract. 3. Tort is a violation of right in rem, right against the world at large, and breach of contract is an infringement of right in personam, right against a person or a body. 4. Motive is often taken into consideration in tort but not in a contract. 5. The measure of damages in tort is not strictly limited. 5. For a breach of contract, the measure of damages is generally more or less determined by stipulations of the contracting parties. Difference between tort and crime. 1. A tort affects the private rights of a person. 1. A crime, on the other hand, affects the whole society. 2. In tort, compensation is recovered from the wrongdoer. 2. A person committing a crime is punished by the state. 3. In tort, action is brought in by the injured party. 3. In crime, proceedings are conducted by the state. Nature and characteristics of torts. Civil wrong: a tort is a civil wrong, as opposed to a criminal offense. It involves a violation of a legal duty owed by one person to another, resulting in harm, injury or damage. Breach of duty: a tort occurs when there is a breach of duty. The person committing the tort fails to fulfill their legal obligation or duty towards another person, whether it is a duty to exercise reasonable care, respect someone's property rights or refrain from committing intentional harm. Harm or injury: a tort results in harm, injury or damage to the person, property, reputation or economic interests of another individual. This harm can be physical, emotional or financial in nature. Causation. A tort requires a causal link between the wrongful act or omission and the harm suffered. The breach of duty must be the direct cause of the harm or injury suffered by the victim. Legal remedy. Torts provide a basis for seeking legal remedies. The injured party, known as the plaintiff, can file a lawsuit seeking compensation for the damages suffered, including monetary compensation, injunctions and declaratory relief. Compensation. One of tort law's key objectives is to compensate the victim for the harm suffered. The compensation aims to restore the injured party to the position they would have been in had the tortious act not occurred. The compensation awarded is determined based on the nature and extent of the harm suffered. Fault-based liability. In most tort cases, liability is based on fault. The person committing the tort must have acted negligently, intentionally or recklessly. However, certain torts, such as strict liability, do not require proof of fault and hold the defendant liable regardless of their intent or level of care. Individual rights. Torts protect individual rights and interests. They provide a legal mechanism for individuals to seek redress and hold others accountable for the harm caused. Torts encompass a wide range of rights, including personal integrity, property rights, privacy rights and economic interests. Civil proceedings. Tort claims are typically resolved through civil proceedings in a court of law. The burden of proof lies with the plaintiff, who must establish that the defendant's actions or omissions caused the harm suffered. The defendant is given an opportunity to present a defense against the allegations. Preponderance of evidence. In tort cases, the standard of proof is generally based on a preponderance of the evidence. This means that the plaintiff must prove that it is more likely than not that the defendant's actions caused the harm suffered. It is a lower standard of proof compared to the beyond a reasonable doubt standard used in criminal cases. Difference between tort and crime. Historically, torts were closely connected to criminal law, and even today, certain aspects of damage laws include punitive elements. However, it's important to recognize that torts are a specific type of civil wrong or injury. Civil and criminal wrongs are distinguished based on the available legal remedies. Civil wrongs lead to civil litigation, whereas criminal procedures aim to punish defendants for accused acts. Civil proceedings focus on enforcing rights asserted by the plaintiff against the defendant, while criminal proceedings seek to punish the accused for their actions. Occasionally, the same mistake may be the subject of both procedures. Difference between contracts and torts. P.H. Winfield's definition helps clarify the distinction between contracts and torts. According to Winfield, tort liability arises when a legal obligation owed to all people is violated, and the violation can be addressed through legal action seeking unliquidated damages. On the other hand, a contract is an agreement between parties that establishes a specific legal obligation. The contract's nature, substance and implications are determined by the agreement reached between the parties. Someone views contract as a result of individuals exercising the independent legislative power granted by the law to define their respective rights and duties. Legal remedy. The law of torts provides specific legal remedies to injured parties when their rights are violated. These remedies can include monetary compensation, restitution of specific property, and court-ordered injunctions. The court assesses various factors of liability by applying tests such as directness and foreseeability to determine the extent of the damage suffered and whether it is too remote. Only after evaluating these factors will the court provide relief to the claimant. That wraps up our exploration into torts for 12th class students. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more insightful content, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, this is Thoughts Unveiled, signing off.